Pandemic fueled buying of homes. 1 in 3 Canadians delaying either buying a home or making a significant purchase. Declining home values almost across the country. The question many home buyers and home sellers and homeowners are asking is, will prices ever reach where they were at the peak of the market in the spring of 2022? Today's video dives into just that question, what is going across the country and what is going on locally in the Fraser Valley where we live. If that sounds like it might be of interest to you, this is definitely the video for you. You're going to want to check it out. What's good, everybody? It's Darin Germyn from the Germyn Group, where we know you've only got one chance to either buy or sell your next home, so we're here to help you get it right. Make sure to absolutely punch that subscribe button down below because, hey, look, we release stuff all the time on stuff to help you become a better homeowner, a better home buyer, or a better home seller. And you don't want to miss out on any of the incredible content we are putting out on a regular basis. So subscribe, okay? The question is, will home prices ever recover to where they were at the peak of the market? There is no doubt that buying was completely fueled by a frenzy, and there was lots of people everywhere, in fact, that were buying homes all across the country, including in our little neck of the woods here in Surrey and surrounding areas. Right across the country in Canada, home prices are down about 8.8%, and that is largely fueled by some of the places that had the biggest gains during the pandemic, which was, of course, BC and Ontario. All types of product, meaning townhomes, condominiums, detached homes in the Fraser Valley, are down from the peak about 15.8% according to our home price index. A study was done by Darin Germyn and the Angus Reid Forum about what is going on in the minds of would-be home buyers and homeowners that are out there all across the country, and I think the numbers are going to surprise you a little bit. It won't surprise you that 1 out of 5 home sellers or homeowners think it will take significantly longer to pay off their mortgage than what they first suspected. And 1 out of 10 of those homeowners think that they are going to take on more debt as a result of the mortgage rate increases by the Bank of Canada, which are up about 3% since the spring of this year. The most telling of this study, which I found the most interesting, is that 1 out of 5 Canadians don't think prices will ever come anywhere near back to what they were during the peak of the market. That's pretty significant. That's 20% of the homeowners out there thinking that the market is never going to come back. And what I thought that might be useful for today's video was, if you are someone in this camp that kind of maybe feels the same way, let's take a little bit of a historical perspective to see what has happened in the past when we've seen significant declines in value over the course of time. I want to interrupt your video for 30 seconds to let you know about 2 of our new guides that you definitely want to get your hands on. The first is 4 things you can do in only a weekend to increase your home's value by up to 5%. We went deep on the research with this, and this is the same information we actually provide to our home sellers to help them absolutely maximize their sale price when they put their home on the market. And if you're a home buyer, we didn't forget about you either. We've got this guide on 6 things first-time home buyers screw up and how to avoid them. We see people spend money completely unnecessarily when they're buying their first home, and they have no idea what they're doing. Get this guide to make sure that when you buy your first home, you do it right. The good news is you can get access to these almost instantly by looking in the description below to get them delivered to your email inbox. Enjoy the guides. You're going to love them. They got a ton of value in there. Now let's get back to your video. If you were around in 2008, it took 22 months from when the market peaked to when the market recovered for prices to finally come back to where they were at that time. We experienced something similar in British Columbia in 2016, where it just took a short 8 months for the market to recover to prices higher than where they were at the time of the peak. The most significant one in our history was in 2018 when the stress test was introduced, where it took 32 months for the market to actually start showing that homes were worth more than they were 32 months prior to that. So the question to me is, well, how far in are we to these home price declines and what might happen moving forward? I think we can all agree, and the Bank of Canada has been very forthcoming, that we're not quite done with the rate hikes that are coming, and they are going to be around for a little bit. They're not going to go away overnight, but they're probably not going to last forever either. With that being said, knowing that we're probably going to be in a higher interest rate environment than we've been in quite some time, what is it going to take to get the market to start to come back? Knowing that we're going to be in a higher interest rate environment for the next short little bit, how long have we been in this situation? Well, it has been almost 8 months altogether since we saw the peak of the market in the Fraser Valley for all product types. If you recall just moments earlier, I mentioned that was the same as in 2016 when we saw the market start to come back, but the other two examples I used from recent past did take significantly longer. Now, just because we're 8 months in doesn't mean we're on the way out, but there isn't always terrible news based on what's going on out there. Sure, we've seen the average price of properties across the Fraser Valley go down. However, there are examples of properties that have started to gain in value, and this is likely largely due to a supply issue. We're just not seeing the supply come onto the market like we have in previous times. And in fact, over the course of the last 8 months, supply has still remained relatively low. If you're a regular watcher of this YouTube channel, you know that we still do have a housing crisis. I'm not going to get into that right now, but just take away that the supply is still low. And in fact, in all of the sub-communities in the Fraser Valley, we have 57 of them all together. 9 of them in the last month have had relatively significant gains in their values according to the home price index, which means if you had bought a home in one of these areas about a month ago, you would have paid less for it than you would today. That represents about 16% of our sub areas actually saw a gain in value in the last month. The flip side of that, of course, is 84% of them did not see a gain. So take it for what it is. But that is what is going on locally in terms of what the prices are doing and how long we've been in this type of market. Now, the numbers I shared with you are for one-story detached homes, and that's just strictly anecdotal. Anecdotal? I want to know what you think. Please leave a comment below and let me know what you think is going to happen. How long are we going to be in this type of market? Do you think the prices will come back to where they were in the peak? And what do you think is going to happen with interest rates? Of course, don't forget, while you're scrolling around down in that area, please make use of our online calendar where if you have questions about either buying or selling a home, you can book a time to speak directly with me and we'll give you all the information you need to make sure any decisions you're making are the best. Look, everybody, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for subscribing, and I want to thank you for your comment. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers.